pull out a little bourbon while we're doing this show. Some Eagle Rare, really cool blend. It's a really nice smooth bourbon. We're gonna pull that out, pour it over a couple of square ice cubes, and we're gonna kind of get the show started. And as usual, my partner in crime here, Solomon, is here with me, sitting down, kicking it.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
And we, some time ago, I'd asked a friend of mine to send me some topics to kind of survey some of her friends and to see if there were some things that women wanted to know about, or female friends, male friends. It really didn't matter, but we just asked her to survey some friends, and she came up with a couple of questions from some people. And first question she sent, as a topic was, can women really raise men without the presence of a father? And someone else said, hey, poly relationships, is it about building families and communities, or a big group of freaks? And that was pretty, it's a funny one. And then another subject was black men taking health serious. They're talking about there are lots of groups of women, talking about dieting and exercising and taking care of themselves. And, one of the women wanted to know, hey, where the fellas at, in terms of doing this. Another one was, a man, one of her, I guess her male friends kind of wrote a question and said, hey, I'm married with 3 kids, 8, 13, and 15, and I want a divorce, but I don't want my wife to be a single mom and leave my kids. Should I stay until the kids leave home? We're going to come back to that one. And the last one that we received was someone kind of wrote in and said, hey, I'm married and my wife wants a threesome with another woman. What are the rules?
Wow.
Man, the rules. There are none. But just kidding. But the one that we kind of want to go back to is, the brother that wrote in that said he was married with 3 kids and, he wants a divorce. First of all, it's probably would need a little more information on the subject as to why he wants a divorce. Because that I think has a lot to do with, our feedback, but just simply based on him asking, do I stay until the kids leave home? And that's a huge question that I think that's a dilemma that a lot of people face. People question whether, do I ride it out? There are kids involved. And in all fairness, the children, at the end of the day, I don't care what kind of squabbles and fights and disagreements that adults have. At the end of the day, it's all about the child or the children.
100%.
They didn't ask to be here. It was a decision made by 2 adults. So the children should not suffer if 2 adults can't get along. People split up and go separate ways. It happens all the time. But I think, the question was, he says, I don't want my wife to be a single mom and I don't want to leave my kids, but I want a divorce. I think the 3 of those, they don't really mesh together.
Yeah.
Are you just sick of being married?
That's a good question.
Is your wife cheating? Have you cheated and that's why you want to leave? At the end of the day, so many people sacrifice their own happiness, and they stay in relationships. And this part really has nothing to do with children. There are a lot of people that actually stay in relationships in which they are not happy, the relationship is not fulfilling nor satisfying, but they stay in it because they feel like they've already invested a lot of time. I don't want to feel like I wasted time, so I'm just going to hang in here and ride it out. Well, you're riding it out, you're still wasting time, because whatever time after you've made that decision, it's that amount of time is still a waste as well. But it also, for when you have children involved, how involved are you with your children? People can have a divorce and you can still, especially speaking as a father, you can still be a father. But this is where the parents have to be on the same page. You cannot be, and this is just my opinion only, when there's a divorce and then that decree is created and then there is a final sign off, I think the piece that should not really be in there is the fact that most of the time, unless it's joint custody, a father gets, hey, every other weekend, or, being typically Thursday through Monday. But in my experience, that there was no limit. There was no time frame in which I could see my child. I think that, you not only hurt the parent here, but I think you also hurt the children. You have to be able to see your children, to me, whenever you want to see your children, as long as it's convenient for both adults, not where you're running, playing these games at the last minute. Hey, I want to see, I want my kid to stay with me this weekend, or, oh no, you're going to pick them up. And then all of a sudden she changed her mind and says, oh, well, I changed my mind. I'm going to, they're going to stay with their aunt this weekend or whatever. But, for the gentleman that asked that question, do you stay until the children are out the house? Based on their ages, the youngest one I think was 5. You're still talking basically another 13 years of unhappiness that you want to endure. And the flip side of that is your wife may want a divorce and you don't even realize she wants a divorce.
Wow.
She may want you out too.
Very good point.
Have you guys done counseling? That's a question, is this a decision strictly based on emotion? How long have you been feeling this way? Is it something that you've only been feeling like this a few weeks, few months, or have you been like this for years? That has a lot to do with you being able to make that decision. But whatever decision you make, that is a very tough decision. I don't think anybody can advise you, really tell you what to do in this case. You know exactly how much you'll miss your children. When you're with somebody and you see somebody every day, assuming you do see your children and your wife every single day, that's a huge adjustment to not be able to see your children every single day. And not just for you, but the bigger part of it is it's the adjustment for them. They don't see their father every day. And a lot of times, what tends to happen when there's a divorce, especially multiple children, you get children acting out.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to cope, deal, and handle what they're experiencing. They don't know how to deal with it emotionally, physically. It can wreak havoc. Then all of a sudden you see attitudes change. You see grades drop. You see their personalities change. That's a lot. That's a lot for a young child to go through. I think it's probably something that you and your wife really need to sit down and discuss. First of all, why you feel this way. There may be just a pure lack of communication here that could solve the problems that stem to your feelings.
That's a good point.
But yeah, that's a, and I guess I chose that one to talk about, you know, but at the end of the day, I think we need more information on that, in order to be able to kind of assess and even to get feedback from listeners as well, because I think one of the things that the listeners would want to know as well is, well, why do you want a divorce? How long have you all been married? Are all 3 children your children? Are 2 of them yours? One was from a previous relationship. There's some other pieces to the puzzle that need to be placed before we can kind of get enough of the big picture to give you feedback on that. But Solomon, what are your thoughts on this, man?